Because it's fun. That's why we have that lever. I mean, how else are you going to access the alligator room?
And why do we have that room?
Well, I don't know where you keep your alligators, but a room seems a perfect place.
Especially if it's already called the alligator room.
And what else would you keep in it after calling it the alligator room?
Crocodiles.
I mean, fair. But
Wild-shaped druids.
Could be.
I love how we started off the rails.
Well, you know, kobolds.
That's standard for us. Hello and welcome.
Yes.
Hello and welcome to Pack Tactics: Season 3: Arc 2: Episode 18:
Oh my goodness.
Consolidation.
Okay.
I am Crash. I will be your DM for the evening.
I'm not hearing anything from anyone.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Which means she can't hear any of that. Or they can't hear any of that.
Well, they're relogging. Can you hear us now?
Can you hear us now?
Yes.
Good.
Good.
Okay. Well, my name is Crash. I will be your DM for the evening. And according to Twitter, I am somewhere between the ages of 13 and 54.
Mm-hmm.
With me tonight are a bunch of incredibly awesome people, including Archbeth is hanging out in chat, but we also have Ellie, Io, Jen, Matt, and Cindy. And there was a lot that happened last week. There was a cornucopia of exposition that occurred last week, but if you broke it down in just a few bullet points, what the heck went on?
Let's see.
We found a fleet. Well, actually, the mushroom people found a fleet, but then we started taking it apart / putting it back together, and also we cleaned dirt for like 3 days because otherwise we might damage the fleet more.
And
Marwise lectured us about his... I don't think she's going to be satisfied until I'm double proficient.
One of the lines that didn't make it into an out-of-context quote, although I should have put it in as an out-of-context quote, was, "I'm already proficient in history. May I be excused?" To which the answer was no, but in more words.
None of you all seem to know about Tiamat, and you're now on a base that used to be full of Tiamat worshippers. Use learning about Tiamat.
At this point, you have successfully completed the Tiamat 202 level course. Of course, the 101 course you haven't taken, so that might be a bit of a problem. But the advanced stuff you know, just not the basic stuff that it's based on. I'm sure nothing bad will happen from that. One point of detail, it wasn't the mushroom people, it wasn't the Myconids that found the fleet, it was the Warforged.
Oh, right.
Yes. The Myconids have found a nice little hidey hole, a nice little crevasse that is full of biomass and air, and they are happy there on the moon, and they are, except for Button's still a bit of an explorer, but most of them are happy to just hang out there and not bother anyone.
In my defense, I have a -1 to perception.
Fair. During the time between... I really like how I was like, okay, we're going to start off this session with the moon back in orbit, but we're going to have just a little bit of flashback to figure out what happened between then and now. And then we spent the whole 2 hours doing flashback, which is fine. I mean, I thought we're going to hit these bullet points real quick, and then the party chose tedium.
Right.
And I said, you have asked for it, so I shall serve it.
Mm-hmm.
Here, spend 3 days clearing rock instead of just looting the place.
That is what we did.
Yes. But clear rock you did, and you got a shiny new old spaceship, hundreds of years old, one of the angel ships from the old kobold fleet. Clearly kobold manufacture because it's sized for kobolds. The chairs have spots for your tails to fit, so there you go. And then you took that ship, you flew it over next to your old ship, which is newer, the Red Star, and took the fancy tech out of the new old ship and put it in the old new ship.
Right.
So currently the Red Star, while not painted flat black, so it doesn't just blend in against the night sky like the angel ship does, currently has a cloaking device and the ability to create spheres of darkness. And through testing, you have discovered that, you discovered a couple things. The cloaking device basically works like you're casting invisibility. It works like the ship is casting invisibility on itself.
But for an hour.
For an hour, which is why there was a safety cover on the button, because if you press that, then you're invisible for up to an hour, but can't do that again for another day. So, whoopsie. you do that for a period of time where it's over an hour before the battle? Well, maybe contact the enemy and ask them if they're willing to wait 24 hours. You put a cover on that thing.
Yeah.
Because apparently even hundreds of years ago, kobolds did enjoy pressing buttons if there wasn't some type of thing to keep them from pressing the button. And if anyone on the ship does a hostile action, if they attack in any way, shape, or form, that breaks the invisibility for the entire ship. The darkness, that does have a ranged ability. Darkness spell usually has a range of 60 feet, but if you're casting it through the ship, it has a range of 600 feet, which is a bit nicer. Still creates a 15-foot sphere of darkness, so you can target it at something. The person who is pressing the button can target it at something. These are both concentration spells, but there has been no research put into breaking the concentration, because that would involve damaging the ship.
Or maybe the pilot.
Possibly the pilot, but more likely the ship, because the pilot doesn't press the buttons. The pilot can't reach the buttons from the helm. So it's a different crew member who presses it. Just like it's a crew member who uses the ballista. Or trebuchet if your ship has a trebuchet. Every ship should have a trebuchet because it's just fun to say. But that's me and my love for the word trebuchet. Moving on. Koboldly moving forward. That will never not be funny, by the way. I don't believe that will ever not be funny. It may have been suggested that testing the concentration be a thing, but Fiddle Punch has given a look to whoever has suggested this that discouraged them from further inquiry on the subject. Mostly because he spent the better part of a month fixing the red star as you got back in orbit. Speaking of which, Chroma, I imagine that you spent some more time examining that room that was found. There were the circular room with the half sphere with all the bits and bobs all over it.
Huh?
Yeah, there were many.
My working theory is that maybe it keeps crystal spheres from opening up usually.
Well, I'm not going to require rules for it because you had the better part of a month for this, so that would have been a lot of Arcana checks. That would have been a lot of casting of Identify. You have found nothing to dissuade you of this theory and a few things that have supported it.
Neat.
Provided you can get it working again, which is not something you've managed to do in the past month.
Well, you win some, you lose some.
It's not a matter of winning or losing at this point. It's a matter of you're still in the game.
True.
Now,
but I might have had to forfeit a round or two due to lack of knowledge and or parts. But I'll figure it out.
You're pretty sure it's more the parts than the lack of knowledge because you spent a month playing with it and you're pretty sure you understand the various bits and bobs. The Identify spell is very, very handy in this case. Especially now that we know the rule that Identify doesn't use up the pearl that's required to cast Identify. So a few things happen once the moon gets back into place. First of all, tides are a thing on the planet again, and there was much rejoicing. Yay.
Yay!
But also, as soon as the moon got back into the circulating crystal sphere, kobolds started hopping aboard because teleportation spells were working again. You were no longer within the phlogiston, or the luminiferous ether, or the flow, or whatever you wish to call it. Or the scary bad place where cleric spells don't work, I think, is another thing that it could have been called. Or let me in my bag of holding, Dagnabbit. That might be another thing it's been called on several occasions. So once you are back inside the crystal sphere and the moon is back in orbit, Zelix, the Mind Flayer, arranges transportation. You're not quite sure how Zelix managed to do it, but what looks like a flying snail with tentacles comes in and lands near the complex that's been chosen to be the de facto base. By the way, Zelix did render the pseudo elder brain into a pulp as soon as you were in orbit.
He said he would, so that's fair.
Yeah, and then he rendered the pulp into a finer pulp.
And then he put it in a box and mailed it to himself and hit it with a hammer.
And then he cast disintegration on what was left. They described it as being very cathartic.
Okay.
In any case, they arrange for the ride, and the ship lands. No one gets out, but Zelix goes to join the ship, and they pause for a moment. Is there anyone in this group that would see Zelix off?
Bye. It was nice meeting you.
Zenosha wouldn't oppose it, but I'm not entirely sure she'd go out of her way, so depends on what else she was doing when this happened.
Understood.
I'd see Zelix.
I'm sorry?
Neri would see Zelix off.
Zax
Okay.
won't. Zax is not going to.
That's on brand. So Neri and Chroma are there, and Zelix is about to walk to the ship, and they stop for a moment, and they're rather inscrutable beings. You don't get a lot of emotional energy off them. You can't tell through body posture what they're thinking. They're alien in a lot of ways. But it stops for a moment, and it turns towards both of you, and it says, "The heretic had a use for the moon. You might do well to discover what it was.
Thank you.
That's a good idea.
You may not thank me, or wish you had thanked, should you discover the use that was intended." And then Zelix turns and levitates up to the ship, and the Nautiloid flies away. And the DM scratches one more NPC off his list of, I need to get in the headspace of this character.
And also one more NPC off the list of people who would get initiative automatically rolled for them.
Good thing. I don't have to worry about them anymore. All right. Now, when I said kobolds started coming aboard the moon, I meant a lot of kobolds. Because you've got a whole moon. You can spread out. And there's still a lot of cleanup to be done. I mean, there was some orbital bombardment. There was a lot of stuff that was ripped off of the ring world and the turtles. And this sounds weirder every time I say it, but it's still true. And that's all over the place. And also the installations that are hundreds of years old that have been left derelict for a while. And the zombies, the hordes and hordes of zombies, many of which just stopped functioning when the so-called heretic had been killed and also rendered into a fine pulp. But many others did the thing that zombies do, where they just become mindless killing machines, and they might wander, they might stay still and attack things when they see them. They might pretend to do the things that they did in life, like the couple of zombies that you found in the one building that were playing a card game. But for the most part, that needs to be cleaned up. So, turns out, you have a decent amount of kobolds coming in to do these basic tasks. Some of them higher level than others. Many of them the traditional, like, CR 1/8 kobold, so they, of course, work in packs. They've developed tactics for working in packs. And every now and then, when the weaker groups go out and they don't come back, more powerful groups are sent out to see what happened. On that note, your particular group has been tapped on the shoulder because a weak group went out and didn't come back. So a stronger group was sent out, and they didn't come back.
Oh no, we're gonna have to haul a lot of bodies back, huh?
Depends on what happened to him.
Well, they probably didn't get distracted by, like, heaps of ice cream, so...
And now I want ice cream. Thanks, Chroma.
Me too.
It's been a while. All right, well, we should.
One of the
figure
Warforged
this
comes
out.
up to you, and they open their chest cavity, and there's a soft serve dispenser in their chest cavity, and they pull a lever, and out comes Twist, and they hand it to you.
Wow,
Oh,
that's
There's a Warforged
Not
ice cream maker.
yeah. I was not
Why
expecting.
isn't there a Warforged ice cream maker is a better question. And the answer is, there is one.
All right, so when we're done eating ice cream, I guess we'll go check for this group that didn't come back.
Okay. Now, the problem is Dax is off doing whatever it is Dax has gone off to do. They have had a few changes to their motivations. He has had some changes to his motivations since he came back from the dead. Being dead changes you
Right.
on occasion.
Yeah.
And for the month it took to come back, he wasn't really part of the group that much, which is a bit of a shame because he's a brother to a couple of you.
Yep.
So I'm sure you miss him. But that leaves you rather short-handed, and that's not a kobold joke.
Are you sure? It sounds like a kobold joke.
Well, if it was someone taller than a kobold making it, perhaps. But in any case, another kobold was picked to join your group because 5 is a good number. So let's have the group be 5. That's worked before. So, Snacks, you've been tapped on the shoulder and told, oh, by the way, there's a bunch of kobolds that are going to go out to find out where the missing kobolds are. Well, this group of missing kobolds, not the other group of missing kobolds. We sent someone else for them, but whatever. In any case, here you go. Try not to kill anyone. Well, okay, kill things. But
try not to kill any other kobolds. Got it.
Yeah. And I'll give you a moment to introduce your character to the rest of the group. What do they see when you're shoved into the room?
Well, Nax or Snacks, depending on what you want to call him. He is a yellow scaled kobold. Scales range from butter to banana to goldenrod. That was the other word I was looking for. He's wearing a dark robe patterned with an eye motif, carrying a staff and a well-worn backpack, a pair of pouches at his waist, along with a gnarly-looking wand that seems to be engraved with a flame motif, a dagger here, and the stereotypical conical-shaped hat with moon and stars upon it.
Please tell me it doesn't say Wizard.
No.
We already went there.
I mean, literally, you did.
But if he has a pet mimic, I'll be worried.
No pets. Since they contend, well, he has a series. He has some pets, but he'll show them later, maybe, if it works.
Okay.
The best part is the character art that I guess was randomly selected is for the kobold inventor, which technically, theoretically, has a bunch of pets.
Yeah.
If you consider a scorpion on a stick to be a pet.
Yeah.
The black goo that eats people might also be alive.
It looks more of like a dark green, to be honest.
He'll introduce himself. I'm Nax or Snacks. I am a associate thereof, a wizard on Circulus. His name was Aristobulus, and I assist him in gathering lore. If any of you are aware of any books, he would like to have them, and I have a special backpack that I keep them in. Huh?
Like if we're aware of any books, or
well, if we come across any
particularly arcane books.
Yes, he would love those.
The same kobold that gave me my staff and floating shield owns a library.
Does
a
he
big
want
one.
all the books ever? Because I'm not sure my
has a lot of
will have
books.
space for that many.
Given?
Well, he lives inside a mountain, so I guess he has lots of space.
So is he a kobold? I mean, he lives inside a
No.
mountain.
He's one of the tall people and has hair on his face, and he gave me some of these things that I'm holding on to, and he'll point to the robe and point to the wand.
Oh.
He said he used these when he was younger.
All right. Well, hopefully you can make good use of that. I'm not really a book person, so I don't think I'm going to be able to help you with that part of this. But
well, if you find any, just give them to me, and I'll stuff them in here. And he shows his backpack again. It's got lots of room inside.
All right. Fair enough.
I got my book of mushrooms, but I'd rather hang on to that.
Oh, well, okay.
JR clutches
But if
his
you ever
diary
decide
closer
you
to his
don't want
chest.
I have a journal with technical blueprints in it and notes and doodles I did while Marwise was telling us about history.
Well, if you ever don't want it, you can stick it in my backpack, and I will gladly take it back home.
Yeah, works for me.
So, editorializing. I'm hearing my voice coming back at me again.
Yeah.
Okay, never mind. Given the proximity between Meepo's farm and Ari's home,
Mm-hmm.
I would not be shocked in the least if Marwise and Ari didn't, like, converse on the regular.
Oh.
Well, they did fight the ancient green dragon together, so they
Right.
did know each other. And now my voice is coming back at me again. It's coming through. I think it's Eo's mic. I'm sorry.
Oh, right, because some things weren't working properly. Give me a sec.
I'm sorry. But I'm not saying that this group of kobolds would definitely know that. I don't see Marwise saying, okay, well, here's what you're going to say today. Here's a list of everyone I know.
Right.
I don't know Marwise that. Player doesn't know Marwise that well, but Ari wouldn't have necessarily either mentioned that he talks to another like series of kobolds, other than maybe Meepo. He might have brought her up a time or two as being a nominal apprentice, but since she was a sorcerer and he was a wizard.
Right. Right.
Hello?
Hello.
And I'm not getting an echo.
I'm not
Same.
getting an echo either. So I think the problem is fixed.
My old headset is currently apparently working for me.
Okay.
This is like all the times when a previous podcast that I wasn't a part of, but I listened to a lot, every now and then one of the participants would sound like really, really bad, and they would be going through all their mic settings and not figuring out what it was, and it turns out their webcam mic was what their audio was picking up.
Oh no.
They would have this
Always
really nice
check with
microphone in front of them, but it would be using the one on the webcam.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, always check device first. For some reason, Windows likes switching them up on you.
Yeah,
That don't
I'm
happen.
lucky
I
that
never use Discord on Windows because it does not like to work properly there. Seriously, it likes to turn green and weird and flickery.
It's really strange.
it might be a driver issue, but that's not something that I think we need to troubleshoot at this exact moment,
Indeed.
because right now things are working. Let's just not look at them and hope it stays that way. That's usually good advice. Where the car is running, I'm
I
just
am
never
not
going
on
to open the hood.
Windows. I am not on Windows right now, so I am not having weird green stuff.
No, the weird green stuff is in that one clay jar that the kobold inventor is carrying around. Don't
And
open
also
that.
possibly in the possession of Zenosha.
No, my
Also
weird
quite
green
possible.
mold's mostly the light fixtures now.
Oh,
Right.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The-
I'm laughing at
The,
Ellie
the
putting it.
luminous mold. Exactly.
Mhm.
Well, moss. It's moss, but never mind.
I am so glad it's moss.
Not mold. Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
With all of that said, you are given coordinates and you happen to have a ship, so it doesn't take too long for you to find the location where the kobold adventuring groups were disappearing. And it appears to be a ruined settlement, is probably the wrong word for it, but
Colony?
maybe outpost would be better. There's a collection of buildings, most of which are very ruined. Large chunks of rock falling from a ring world onto the moon will usually do that. There's one building that's away from the rest of them that looks like it was built on top of an area where multiple ruins were created, and there's scorch marks around it, and various pipes that are coming out of it and going into the ground. And there's also something that looks like a multi-level fort that is built into the wall of the crater that all of this exists in.
Ooh.
So should we check the tower or the fort first?
Well,
That was Zenosha asking the others.
the building that looks like it was built on ruins is, you could argue it's a tower, but it looks like it's only 2 stories tall. The fort is taller.
Oh, so should we check out the weird pipe building or the fort first?
Well, do we know what they were looking for? We probably don't.
You could also explore the rest of the ruins. There is enough of an atmosphere that you'd be able to do that if you wanted to. But the ruins do look fairly ruined.
Yeah, if even the backup group disappeared, they were probably in one of those more intact structures.
Yeah, I think we're gonna have to go in there.
All right, let's go take a look.
Which
All right.
one?
The bigger one, I guess. 2 groups,
Okay.
bigger space. I don't know.
Works for me, I guess.
Yeah.
The smaller one will take less time to search.
Oh, that's true. All right. Well, I'll try the smaller one. We'll get that one done real quick. And if they're in there, they're in there. We're done. If not, we'll take on the bigger one.
Okay. Doesn't really matter as long as we got a decision running.
Yeah. Let's go with that.
All things being equal.
All right, I'll land as close as I can to equidistant between them.
Okay. And you all hop out. JR follows you, of course. They've never used their Morning Star and shield in actual combat, so they look a little anxious, as much as a mostly skeletal robot can look anxious.
Yeah. I'm going to
Don't
pat him on the
worry, I'm
shoulder and
sure
be like,
you'll do
you're going to
great."
be fine. Everybody's nervous in their first battle. You'll do great. Just stick by me. You'll be fine.
They go to give you a thumbs up, but in doing so, they drop the Morning Star, and then they reach down and pick it back up again.
See, you got it. You know what to do. If you drop it, pick it up. If you can't reach it, hit something with your shield, assuming you're being attacked.
They go to give you a thumbs up again, but then think better of it and just nod.
There you go. You're learning.
Okay. So the smaller building, the 2-story building, has a very familiar looking airlock structure. It looks like it came from the same manufacturer, possibly built by the same people, go figure. Although this airlock is clearly damaged and sort of half open already.
Wow, it's even got the same zombie trap between the doors.
There is no zombie here. There is no sign of zombies here,
Okay.
which is a little weird considering every other ruin that you've explored on this moon had zombies of the previous inhabitants hanging out there.
That is a little weird.
All right. Well, we've got atmosphere here. It's got to have atmosphere in it. We'll be able to breathe. So let's go see about getting this door open.
It's open enough that
Is
you
it
can
open?
crawl
Okay.
through.
Oh, all right.
even-
Well, then-
Even someone of Zax's build can squeeze their way
Yeah.
through.
okay.
Can JR get through?
JR can get through.
Okay.
He's taller, but
Well-
he's skinnier.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. They're taller. I'm gonna get
Yes.
that right one of these days. All right. Yeah. So we squeeze through the door.
Okay. And what you see is the image that I just posted. It is a 15 by 15 foot square room. You have what appears to be an exit in the middle of each of the walls. The one you've come through is the one on the right that leads to the outside. The one to the south, the one at the bottom, is a curtain, as you can see, which is still fairly intact.
Let's check the curtains. Curtains either hide nothing good or a play, so
Okay.
Or an old guy moving a lot of dials and stuff. Okay, so you dramatically swish aside the curtain to see what's on the other side, and you find another room that the DM has to screenshot.
Oh.
Ooh.
Okay. It's weird that this is a curtain and not just an opening or a door.
Yes. Now, ignore the door at the bottom here. I'm recycling a map from
Okay.
another scenario. So there is no actual door there. But this particular room is 10 feet by 20 feet, and there are... It's kind of like a closet space in that there is a bar that goes all the way across, and there are shirts hanging from it. The shirts are... Some of them are made of cloth. Some of them are made of some type of material that your best guess is it's like chainmail. And there's some that look a bit heavier, like they're made of plate.
are they
Ooh,
more
they fit.
kobold sized or dragonborn sized?
They're more dragonborn size, but from the look of it, like, you know how you can wear a shirt that's a few sizes too big for you? Like, you could wear one of these without feeling like you were in a tent.
But they're not intended for creatures of our size.
It doesn't look like they were specifically tailored to, like, if a kobold's wearing it, it would not be a fitted shirt. If a dragonborn was wearing it, it might be. They look very similar to the shirts that you saw the dragonborn corpses wearing on the top of the force cannon installation that you found.
Okay.
Right, okay.
Hey,
All
JR,
right.
you want to try on some armor? Might be closer to your size. Be a little heavy, though.
GR goes over and looks at the various shirts and gravitates towards a red one.
Well, that's not going to provide you much protection. I was thinking of the one that looks like sort of chainmail.
No,
But it's up to you.
they're going for one of the ones that looks like plate, but it's just painted
Oh,
red.
but it's red. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, that's fine. That's fine.
They hold it up in front of them and then look at the party.
Does it fit? Is it heavy?
They go and put it on, and move their arms and seems to be okay.
All right. That should give you a little extra protection then.
Okay, you have given JR
Yeah.
a red
Depends on
shirt
how meta this is.
while JR is on an away mission. I'm sure
Right.
nothing will possibly go wrong.
It's chainmail.
But we're the next generation of kobolds, so red is command, not security.
Maybe so.
JR is now your captain. or maybe first officer.
Fair.
From now on, when JR goes up to their chair, they're going to climb over the back of it.
Technically, Zax is wearing red too because she's got Cox's dragon mail armor.
And now I'm going to have to frantically look up the stats for that item that I just told you about.
Oh,
And I
sorry.
need to add it to JR's character. Wasn't gonna have JR wear one, but you were like, "Hey, JR,
Well-
you should put this on."
Well, you didn't have to
So-
decide to do it. You know?
While the
Hey,
no,
DM
this
is
is
looking
JR.
something up, let's go through the west door.
Okay.
You know what? I don't think there was. No, I got them wrong. There was cloth, there was leather, and there was chain. So it is a chain one.
Oh, okay. I mean, the way Zax figures it is this is JR's like first real battle where they're intending to get into battle and not just be led by emotion into battle. So they're probably going to get hit. So they need a little extra.
There we go.
Mhm.
Okay, so which one did you say you're going through next?
I figured
West.
just do it clockwise.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
The DM is going to have to scroll back so we get this whole thing. And... so you go west, young kobolds. Go west.
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
You're going to see a great big picture here.
It's not a map, it's the monster we're fighting.
Yeah, I can't fit the whole Tarask into this single screenshot.
Oh, no.
That's
You
spell
were-
with me soiling myself.
Well,
were
if
wondering-
Shadow of the Colossus taught me anything, it's that map and monster are not mutually exclusive.
Also true. The Tarask got a hold of that dirigible that we saw in the previous art. And was like, where would I like to go? Oh, look, the moon is back.
Yeah. Well,
Okay, so forgive the scale change for this.
We-
Exactly. So you see a great big room. It is an octagon shape with a bunch of tables that have a bunch of parts scattered around on them. To the north, you see what is clearly labeled because I used a map that had labeling on it. A bunch of lockers. And to the south, there's a bunch of cabinets. To the west, there is what is clearly a forge, not just because it is labeled forge on the map, but also because you as kobolds have seen forges before. You know what they look like. This is clearly a forge. There's a bunch of fuel in a container next to the forge. There's a small box that looks like it has a bunch of metal ingots nearby, but that's been knocked over. There is a door over on the west wall as well that is perhaps a bit smaller than the ones you've been going through before, but this one also looks like it has been designed to be an airlock of some kind. And above you, sir, not appearing in this map, but it is part of this map, the second floor is not a full floor. There is a walkway that goes around this floor. Picture, if you will, a mezzanine.
okay.
All right,
That's like
this room's a lot bigger than the others, so Zenosha's going to be a little bit more on edge, so I'm rolling a perception check to see if I can hear or see anything moving.
is the mezzanine as dangerous as a gazebo?
Twice as dangerous because it has the high ground, which means the fight is already over.
Only if somebody's on fire.
Then we close the door.
Well, getting back on track. Not that we were ever there before, but pretending that we were on track. With a roll of 20, it looks like this room has not been used for a very long time. And while for the majority of that time it appears to have been exposed to vacuum, that has not been the case for the past month. Dust has settled over a large amount of area, but there's things in here that have been moved since the dust settled. And with a nat 20, I'm going to say you also see several
I didn't
sets
get a
of...
nat 20. I
well,
got
not
a
that
dirty
20. You got a dirty 20, but still. With a dirty 20, with a nat 20, I'd be saying, okay, so you spotted 3 enemies. Their names are Huey, Dewey, and Louie, and they have a race car, a laser, and an aeroplane. None of this is true.
Right.
But you do see footprints for something. Possibly more than one something. They have, they clearly have scales on their feet. They're walking around without footwear, and most likely claws as well on their feet.
Are they
Hey.
kobold sized?
Or are they,
They
dragonborn
are-
sized?
They're more dragonborn sized than kobold sized, but your experience with dragonborn is that they wear boots.
Right.
Zombies?
This could also be up to a month
Do
old.
zombies not wear boots?
I don't know. I mean, if I'm fighting a zombie, I don't really care if they're wearing boots, you know?
Where do the
Zombies
footprints lead?
typically wear what they were wearing when they were first reanimated, which could be just about anything depending on what they were doing when they died and what's been done to them since.
Hmm.
Can I track the footprints?
They seem to go in a variety of directions. Give me a survival check to see if you can tell where they went most recently. Okay. With an 18,
That's an 18.
With an 18, I will say it looks like they most likely most recently went out the door you just came in.
That seems. I don't know what that means.
Maybe they went to the other building.
It means that
Oh.
if they're in this building, they're probably in behind the north door or upstairs.
A spear flies past you and slams into the door that you came in.
Oh, look.
Okay, well,
Now I know
How
what
about that?
it means.
It came from the mezzanine above you.
I guess we go up there. Oh,
Drop
we don't have the flying
your
carpet.
Weapons.
Yipe.
Hello.
what do we see?
And for the record, the flying carpet was Dax's, so you don't have it anymore.
Right. Right, we don't have
Yeah,
it.
that's why I was saying.
Yeah.
Is there an obvious way up there?
Not from where you are in this giant room now. Well, other than,
Okay.
flying up there. You could probably toss one of your
I
compatriots up
could
there.
probably toss somebody up there, but I don't know if I could.
Toss me, toss me.
Yeah, really?
Uh-huh.
All right,
The three-
let's get close enough and
3 beings that look like very big kobolds. All are sticking their heads over the mezzanine railing. They're all holding spears and pointing them at you. Drop
Hello.
your weapons. We will not suggest it again.
Chroma, you got a spell you can hit him with?
I do. I do.
Do it.
How far away are they?
Roll for initiative. If you're going to cast a spell, we're rolling.
Grease!
Well, that would work. Yeah. All right, we're rolling for initiative. I have a 5.
Hold on, let me load up the encounter.
Oh, sorry.
It's okay. I am glad that I changed Cogbucket's stats
no,
to
she
have
did,
the new
yeah.
shirt.
Yeah.
Oh, but Cogbucket is not an NPC now. He's counted as a player character, so I gotta roll for him properly.
Oh.
Oh no, I gotta play the game. Okay, so going through this list here. Neri,
18.
Chroma.
7.
It's okay, you have healing abilities. Zax.
Okay, so the dice is a 5, and initiative is +3, and I don't know what else to do with that, really.
Okay, so you got an 8.
Yeah.
Zenosha.
22.
Zenosha went yesterday.
This is a new experience for Zenosha because she only has a +3, but a 19 on the die is a 19 on the die.
Wow.
Zenosha is the Fist of the North Star. They're already dead.
Considering she's probably going to open up with lightning bolt, that might be true.
That'll do.
Do we need
And-
to kill them?
And Snacks.
I don't think
Alright.
we need
Roll
to
a
kill
17 in
them.
there.
Chroma, everything that tries to kill us, you're like, do we have to get violent?
They're not our friends.
Valid.
They want to kill us. They're throwing spears at us. We're in battle, Chroma.
They're telling us to drop our weapons.
And that
That-
leaves us without any defense, mostly. So.
Well, I'm not saying
no.
we should do it. I'm just saying that this might not be a we have to fight until people are dead thing.
But it just makes it easier. I mean, negotiations are complicated. We already know
So-
they want to fight.
So while this discussion is taking place, Zenosha, what do you choose to do? And Archibald is pointing out, and they're hearing the party discussing.
Oh, I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I don't care either.
For
Maybe I
various
confuse them.
reasons, neither of you care.
No.
All right, so since they're above us, I'm assuming I can only manage to get one of them within the 5 foot wide and 120 feet long line.
Not only are they above you, they are spread out.
So, all right, I'm just going to pick one at random. It's got to make a dexterity save of 17, and even at best, it's going to, maybe even at worst, it's taking a half, so I'm going to go ahead and roll.
That is a 13, so it is not making its save.
So that's 30 damage on an opening lightning bolt.
Okay, you kill them instantly.
One down.
I thought we were not.
Good job, so don't show you got him.
Can the rest of you surrender, maybe? I don't want us to kill you.
You're going to have to wait until at least initiative 9 for them to be able to.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Well, there was one that had a higher initiative, but they are currently a charred corpse.
Mm-hmm. Okay, one down.
Neri, you're next.
I use my bonus action to cast Hunter's Mark on one of the survivors,
Okay.
and I attack.
Feathers or no feathers?
Doesn't matter.
Okay.
25 and a 32 to hit
Those will both hit and then some.
for 31 damage.
Fun fact, you kill them more than Zenosha killed them.
Wow.
Zenosha only did 30 points of damage.
And hearing Chroma's pleas, I will not use Action Surge, and instead end my
Thank
turn.
you.
Snacks, you're up. There's only one opponent left standing.
Matt?
Matt, are you with us?
Oh, yeah. Sorry. It was, I thought it was, I misheard it, things. So there's only one left remaining.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay. So lightning and arrows.
Please don't kill them all.
They opened the conversation by throwing a spear at us.
We want to wound?
Yes.
No.
That'll do. That'll do.
Technically speaking, they threw it at the door, but never mind.
It got our attention, that's for sure. Very well.
Yes, but Chroma would try to make friends with something that would currently eating our brains.
Right.
No, I wouldn't.
I think
You tried to
canonically
make
you may
friends with
have.
something that had mind controlled 3 out of 4 of us.
To be fair, I was mind controlled at the time.
Yes,
And
but
you
it-
weren't angry when you were released.
Yeah. See, yeah, that.
I will cast magic missile and attempt to wound one of the creatures, or the remaining creatures.
Okay, you're going to have to
And
roll
we'll
2
do-
more d4 because it only
Oh, no,
rolls for 1.
No,
of
it
them.
only does the one.
Yeah.
All right. I didn't realize it did that. I haven't used this.
And it looks
Okay.
like you're going to have to do a long rest on that because it's keeping track of spells you cast when you were testing it out. So 6 plus 2,
okay.
you
Oh,
do 8 points
no.
of damage.
8 points. Well, the original one did another. I do 3 missiles. So I roll a 1, a 2, and a 4. Add 3. So 7, 10 total to the target remaining.
Okay.
Don't force us to do that again.
Cogbucket runs over and stands in front of Snacks because Snacks is wearing cloth.
Oh.
And yeah. I mean, granted, there are other characters that don't have a whole lot of armor, but JR has seen one of them turn into a bear,
Right?
and the other one creates craters with arrows,
Yeah.
and one of them creates craters with their fists.
Yep.
So the one that JR is not quite sure about in this group happens to be the new one. So
That
he's
would
standing.
go-
Going to protect you.
Yeah, so he's standing in front of Snacks with his shield up because they don't have any ranged attacks whatsoever, so there's nothing they can do other than stand at the ready. Okay, next up is first lizard folk. They're dead. Next lizard folk. They glare at you, Snacks in particular, then drop the staff they were holding.
Thank you. Now, how about we talk about what
What you're doing on our
happened to
moon.
the other kobold? Technically, we only came to this moon recently, so
Made by
I mean-
kobolds. It's ours.
We did not choose to come here. We were
You should have opened with that. We can get you transport back to Circulus. No
Your
problem.
Yeah.
moon, you call this, brought us here, killed many.
Oh, they're from the ring world.
Oh, you're from... Yeah, that's not near here.
We know it was a long trip, a long fall. Most died, and now you come to kill the rest.
You're the ones that started throwing weapons at us or towards us. What did you expect?
A surrender,
Yeah, I don't do that.
bargaining chips.
yeah.
I'm not
Oh,
good
does
at that
that mean
either.
the others are alive?
What others?
The ones who came here before who didn't come back? Do you not know anything about that?
That means they're in the other building.
We came here recently, went to scout. Not all of us who left returned. Assumed it was you who killed them.
Probably zombies. There are a lot of zombies on
A lot
this
of zombies. We're actually looking for
There are a
kobolds that
lot
haven't
of
come back
zombies.
yet either. So
We only got here a few minutes ago.
we were looking for teams of kobolds that also disappeared.
We chose
I'll,
to stay here for the lack of zombies.
Right.
It
Okay.
was
So other building has zombies. Gotcha.
a bad
Good to know.
decision.
No, the bad decision was attacking us, but if you want, we can
You
arrange.
struck first.
You threw something first.
You stole our land, literally out from
technically,
under
the
our
person who
feet.
stole our moon
right.
for a
See,
while
yeah.
stole the land.
Exactly. That's
Your
who did it.
moon did it. Your
Wasn't under our
moon
control at that
killed
moment. We had to
us.
take it back. All right.
You
Let's go
should
find
have
our
kept
people.
a
y'all.
stronger hold on your moon.
Usually, gravity does that for us. We kind of weren't expecting gravity to stop doing that.
It's not just a good idea, it's the law.
Okay,
I'm
this is
having
getting us
flashbacks
nowhere.
to the Saturday game.
What will you do with
Well, if you promise to play nice, I'm sure we could get you transport to Circulus. It's not the
And,
ring world, but it is another world.
lizard
I know-
men do not play?
Okay, by play nice, I mean
This could be a
not violent. Just promise not to be violent and cooperate, and we can
We
get you
might-
somewhere on Circulus and then let you go wherever you want.
Might be able to bring them back. I keep telling you people not to just. But I can ask the clerics or my mom. Though I think she's cast it already recently.
Technically speaking, she has probably helped to bring back a kobold every day since the reinforcements started arriving.
Yeah.
You would think that the very first day there wouldn't have been a fatality. You would think that.
Kobolds.
There might kind of be a waiting list, but
You are confusing.
We hear that a lot. Yeah. Hmm.
There are stairs over here. I will take them down. I feel like a target. And they walk out of sight, and then a little bit while later, they walk through the door that still has a spear sticking out of it.
Okay.
If you had taken the north door, you would have found the staircase.
Great. All right.
Well, he came in. He could have left. It
Yeah.
either means he's comfortable or he's of diminished capacity.
Well, I mean, we did just kind of show we're the stronger force here.
On a scale of 1 to 27, I'm at a 19.
Okay, well, get your friends ready. We have to check out the other building for our friends. Once we're done with that, we'll come back to get you. And like I said, there might be a waiting list. Some of our friends are kind of death prone, but we have contingencies. But we'll get your friends back alive, get your transport down to the world you're now orbiting, try to find some place that looks comfortable for you, and then let you go off where you want from there.
If you are being honest, others were with us. They did not return from their scouting. Will you treat them like you treated my companions, or like me?
If they're willing to talk first, we're usually willing to work. But there are a lot of
Starting
people
with
out
telling
there who
us to
just...
drop your weapons is just that sounds like we're going to get attacked. You got
Yeah, a lot of people want to kill kobolds on sight, so we kind of have to be defensive by nature.
I'll try to
Clearly.
stop them from attacking more people who don't need attacking.
Clearly, we were not the ones who were a threat to conflict.
All right. Well, let's go find your friends and our kobolds and get this done.
Lizard folk do not have friends, but we do have a clan, or did.
Okay, let's go find them.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Okay. And you go out the way you came, minus a spell slot, and heavy, 1 red shirt.
Right.
Okay, so there is another building. You are wishing to go examine that one?
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
in about
Yep.
5 minutes or so.
That's about wise. Okay, so we're going to take a 5-minute break. We'll be right back. we're back, and one of the things that I enjoy about this group of friends that I have is that when we went to take a break, we just continued our peeing.
We did.
And no one will know what was said.
No.
And several people thought that we'd gone live again because we were RPing.
Because we were still...
Yes.
Yeah.
Which, for the record, I will not have us go live without saying, okay, we're going to go live. But...
Yeah, I didn't think we were live when I started, but I wasn't sure after that.
Yeah, after I kept replying.
Yeah, it's like, okay, maybe I missed it and when I came back and we were live. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, I assumed I just missed it.
Yeah.
Wait, are we
I'm
live?
not out of it.
Well, let me check a pulse.
No, that's another zombie.
Yes, but this one works for Amtrak. Trains. This one likes bread.
So-
Grains.
I know of a zombie who really likes My Fair Lady, but I'm not going to go into.
Okay, got it. Took a minute.
Yeah. But that particular one hangs out in Spain. Moving forward, you have a little bit more of a back and forth between the last of the lizard folk and yourselves. Most of the back and forth is between Zax and the lizard folk, who you do learn their name is Mirik. Actually, hold on. Yeah, their name is Mirik. Once again, using generic names that Wizards of the Coast has come up with for lizard folk, but Mirik is the one. And they are a shaman. They do have some spellcasting ability. Not that they got a chance to use it.
Right.
But never mind about that. And you take a few minutes and you go walking towards the fortress that's built into the side of the crater. And there's a smaller crater that you have to walk around. There's a lot of rubble you have to walk around. There are a bunch of buildings. Apparently, doorways are the most stable structure of a building because a lot of cases when you're walking through this ruined area, you see rubble, doorway, rubble, doorway, rubble, Barney, rubble, bathtub, rubble.
Bathtub?
Well, that's another place you're supposed to go if there's an earthquake because bathtubs are rather stable structures.
I haven't heard that one.
Yeah, it's because they're all one piece, usually made out of very sturdy material. But never mind about that. The fortress itself also looks like it has seen much better days. You've got two possible ways to enter other than, aerial assault, which has been a thing in the past and could still be a thing.
But
Because
we don't have our...
you have the kobold equivalent of a trebuchet.
Pretty much.
So it's
That's
still a
canon,
possibility.
Yeah.
But looking at the map that I have shared with you, you've got the main entrance, which appears to be a double-wide airlock with a path that leads up to it. Or it looks like that whole section to the north has crumbled in from something. And it was long enough ago that you can't tell what did it. It could have been an impact. It could have been just worn down over time. It could have been an explosion. But there's some rubble there. You'd be able to climb right over it and go in that way if you wanted to. Your choice.
Okay, if that pile of rubble's really old, then it probably didn't trap the kobolds in there. Maybe they went in the other door?
Let's go in the other door.
All right, I'll lead the way.
Okay. Technically, it's the only doors. But
Oh.
yeah. So you go up to the airlock, and the thing about the other airlock was there was power. So when you went into the force cannon installation, there was a button you could press, and that made the airlock slide open. There is a button, and it can be a race to see who presses it. But pressing it does nothing.
Huh.
You could
Well, I
also
mean,
continue your walk
Go ahead.
around the structure to see if there's any other ways in. But yes.
Zax, you're pretty strong. You want to try to force this open?
Yeah, I'm going to hit it with the hammer and see if I can at least...
That's not what I
Force down.
thought you'd
What
take
did
away.
you want me to do? Be more clear.
I can try to, well, is it stuck or locked?
It's
I
not
don't know.
powered.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I
Could
figured
maybe
you just
make an
grab one
opening
end
in the
and
door?
give it a heave ho.
I could maybe make an opening in the door.
How?
Hold on a minute. Puts down the rucksack and opens it up and pulls out a rather long staff.
Okay.
And this is a magic staff. I can use it to do things like make holes in doors.
Everybody step back.
Yeah, moving out of the way.
That's
Get
that's
clear.
I know
what Zax's
how
hammer
I
does.
make
Yeah.
holes and
Yeah, but
doors.
my holes go away after a while.
Oh, that's a neat trick.
All right, have at it.
Okay. So I'm going to go up to the door, and I'm going to cast Pass Wall from the staff on the door. And what that will do is make an opening 5 feet wide, 8 feet tall, and up to 20 feet deep.
It does not need to be 20 feet deep, I can tell you that.
Well, then, since I don't know how far it goes, I will try to open the pass wall as deep as possible.
Well, I'm saying now that you've cast it, you are aware that it didn't need to be 20 feet deep.
This will last about 1 hour, and then it will just simply close up again.
Oh, that's pretty neat.
Okay. So what you see
Whoop, whoop, whoop.
is a small area where there probably was an airlock right where that narrow hallway ends, but that is long gone. There's barely any trace of it left. If there was something there, maybe it was hauled away for scrap or something. You don't know. You haven't been watching over this area for centuries upon centuries. There is, however, that star that you see is a statue. It has not weathered very well. There's parts of it that are broken off, but what's notable is it is, in fact, the statue of a kobold.
Wow.
Their head is mostly intact. They're a bit, well, it's a statue, so it's made to be larger than life. Probably the only reason why it wasn't broken more was because it was large enough that a dragonborn would be able to say, yeah, that's probably totally a dragonborn. What, tail? No, it's probably not a tail. Don't worry about it. The statue does have, like, they're kind of looking up. They've got one arm curled in close to their chest with their hand over their chest, and they have another arm that's stretching out and probably would have extended above their head, but that got broken off near the shoulder. They're also missing half of their tail.
Huh. This must have been an important kobold.
Shall we examine it? I would like to perhaps see, is there any name on the base?
Yeah, check it out.
I will go. Snacks will run up and try to get a closer look at the statue.
Okay. Give me a perception check.
Okay. Well, I'm wearing my special robe, but I have no particular skill in perception.
Yes, but your robe of eyes does still give you advantage.
Yes, it does.
By the way, when you go into this room, I'm taking a screenshot to show you what you see in the room in general.
Well, I rolled a 7 and a 20. The 20 will go to a 20 because I have +0. But I did roll a nat 20.
Okay, so like everything else in this area, there has been significant damage. So the part of the inscription that mentions the name of this kobold is lost to antiquity. There isn't even enough mending that you can do. There is a certain button that somebody found back in episode 2 or 3 that might be able to reverse time enough to find out, but you're not sure you really want to be sitting here holding the button down long enough to go back that many centuries. The part of the inscription that you are able to read is, it's a little piecemeal, but you can make out the words in Draconic, "Upon my works ye something and something."
It's Ozymandias.
2?
Well, that is what the DM is referencing, but you didn't have to say it.
Okay.
Also, if you look to the north and the south, there is a giant hole in the wall to the north that you could have walked in to get to the same spot, and 2 holes to the south that you could have walked through to get to the spot. But you didn't know.
Let's look for kobolds door lizard.
Right.
Who I guess are kind of like taller, meaner kobolds.
Right. Okay. How many? I'm trying to understand how many doors are in this room that don't lead out.
Right now, the only doors you can see are the ones that are
there we go.
pass-walled. Everything else is giant hole.
Yeah.
Okay.
As you can see from the bigger, better screenshot that I've shared with you, there are a few rooms that are exposed to the elements. Not that there were elements here before a month ago, but now exposed to elements,
Right.
which don't have much in them. There is, however, a passageway in the wall to the west that leads further into the fortress.
Let's go there.
Well,
Yeah, that's probably where they went, if they're in here.
Okay. Oh, one more detail. In addition to the perception check of a nat 20 on the statue, like as you're looking over the inscription, you notice that there is what appears to be maybe blood. Yeah, that's probably blood. That's
Fresh blood?
it's
blood.
over here. It leads over here too, and
Oh.
there's
Well,
another trail that's sort of going the same direction, and that looks
Which
like
direction on the map?
another trail. They're all going in
Oh.
through that opening in the western wall.
Western wall. So they lead away from the statue to the western wall, or I'm not able to tell that.
Well, some of them go past the statue, some of them come in through one of the various holes. But it looks like bloody things have been drug across the ground here into the fortress.
But nothing leading directly to or away from the statue.
No, the statue was inconsequential.
Okay. I was going to say perhaps they were making sacrifices at the statue. That would
The
give us an entirely different amount of information.
Picture, if you
Right.
will, the statue is actually a gazebo.
Okay.
Okay.
Message received.
right.
Okay.
It animates and attacks. No, no, it does not.
Okay, so let's go through that door to the west.
I am already making the screenshot.
All right.
My understanding is that's where the blood trails lead. So
At least
Yes.
one of them.
There we go. So you go through the door to the west, and you see two more ruined rooms, and you see more blood smears. They are a bit
Where do they
fainter,
lead?
as if the blood is kind of being used up.
Oh,
These are
let's
not good
be on
signs.
guard, but follow the blood.
Yep. I'll lead.
Does
just
this
in
look like
case.
the blood that was like of the taller non-kobold thingies? Does it match?
I
It's
don't
red.
know.
It's red. Did they bleed red?
I don't know. Didn't really pay attention.
So we know it's not Klingons.
You are
Well, to be
aware
fair-
because you have cut enough dragonborn zombies in half with your hammer.
right.
Things
Yeah.
I never expected to say.
But true.
That yes,
Yeah.
the blood they are filled with is usually red, although it gets old enough it starts looking more blackish, and you're getting a bit of that vibe here.
Okay.
So it's old enough, it's starting to change color. So these probably aren't the kobolds we lost recently.
Or
There
the
are two
taller
teams.
non-kobold thing?
There were two teams of kobolds, though. They sent a second team after the first one didn't come back, so I
But
don't know.
the other creature said that there were other members of his clan that were slaughtered.
Maybe we should go that way and find out.
Maybe.
'Cause
Go that way and find out.
Those first two teams of kobolds, I don't think they would have tried to take out the lizard people. I mean, they're weaker, right? So there could be anything in there. So just be on guard. All right.
Okay. Copy pasting. All right. So you continue to follow the blood trails into a hallway that is 15 by like 70 feet. You've got two openings to the west, two openings to the east. You came in through the east. The openings to the east, one of them looks like it was supposed to be a door. You came through what was probably a wall
Okay.
that was turned into a door at some point.
Wasn't me.
No,
Wasn't
long
me
before you were
either.
born. And also was not Snacks, but this was turned into a door in a method similar to what you would see Zax using,
Brute force. Okay.
but was not
Something big.
necessarily Zax.
Yeah.
Through the opening to the north, you see that there is a stairway that is going up, which hides the rest of that passageway from view. The trails go in that direction.
The trails go up the stairs.
They go towards the stairs, at least.
So towards the stairs. All right. Well, guess we're going up.
Follow the red brick road?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Do we see anything else as we go? Oh, we
Yep.
do.
Every time you tell me where you're going, my silence is because I'm copy pasting.
Understood. Okay.
Yes.
So we go to the stairs.
Okay. And you see a large pile of rubble that you notice how there's a pathway on the eastern side of this rubble pile.
Mm-hmm.
It's been shoved over there. So a path has been cleared since the rubble was created. And the smears, for the most part, go through that little path and then through the first door to the east.
All right. Go. Should we open this door or?
If that's where the blood is going, yeah.
All right.
I am preparing for combat before we go through the door.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I'm always prepared for combat, but yeah, I'll need a minute.
I'm fine. I have my gun. I have my sidearm.
Save versus fear. That's a joke. That's a joke. That's not canon. That's not canon.
All right.
Okay.
Well, we're
So-
all right.
Again, reminding you that this map is recycled. The map text says hold down to cistern. Now, it may or may not be a cistern. You don't know. The DM is refraining from making jokes right now. But it could be a bro turn. Okay, there I said it. Because the DM likes puns, dagnabbit. But it is a hole in the ground. It's fairly dark. And the blood smears go up to the hole and right into it.
Oh, no. That's a bad sign.
That is a
Something's in
bad
there,
sign.
and it
Yeah,
was
that's
probably
not
being
good.
fed.
Not good. Not good.
I don't suppose anyone can cast light.
Nope.
Oh, I can do something. Give me a moment. And Chroma takes something out of her bag and fiddles with it for
I
a
have produced
bit,
flame.
and it starts glowing. I have magical tinkering. It's an artificer ability.
All right, cool.
So the sunlight does light for 10 feet total, but we can watch the light as it falls down.
Okay.
Okay. So
Go over
you
to the
go
edge and
up
look.
to the edge.
Yep.
Uh-huh.
Who's up
I'll
to
go
the
with.
edge?
Me and her.
Me.
And whoever else comes with.
Me.
I will
I'll be
stand
like
back
5
here.
or 10 feet away from the edge, but pretty close.
I will
Okay.
stand back here, far away from the hole.
Okay.
Okay.
JR does go up to the hole as well.
All right.
So that means there's 4 of you who go up to the hole. That means
Yep.
I'm going to roll a d4. So the 4 that were there, JR, Chroma, Zax, and who was the 4th? Was it Neary?
Me.
Yeah.
Near-
Okay. So I'm using our order in Discord and counting myself as JR to determine this. So 1, 2. Okay. Chroma,
Uh-huh.
I would like you to do me a favor. I would like you to make a Constitution save.
That's very optimistic of you.
Oh, no.
I like to think so.
I'm going to use my inspiration and see if I can get better than that. I did not.
Oh, no.
Okay, because I just rolled, and the number to beat would have been a 17. So out of the rubble pops a familiar friend, and by familiar, I mean you've seen it before, and by friend, I mean you're very upset that you're seeing another one of these. It's an Umber Hulk.
Not again.
From the
And
rubble
it-
behind us.
The rubble, right where it says hold down to the cistern, it was completely buried under the rubble. And it pops out and makes a beeline for the hole. And those of you who decided, I'm not going near that thing, you're fine. Well, maybe not fine. There is an Umber Hulk.
Hey!
Right.
But it rushes forward
Choices!
and collides with Chroma. And Chroma, for the briefest of moments, you have the sensation that you're flying.
Oh, no.
No, that's gravity. And you land in a pit. In this pit, well, you have dark vision, so you can see just fine. There's a few corpses. No dragonborn zombie corpses that you can see, but there's a couple lizard folk and several kobold corpses. And something really big, really bloated, with a bunch of legs.
Okay, that's not good.
And a big mouth and lots of slobber.
Can I see what's going on down there?
Hello,
Of course. I do
Scorching
what you say.
Ray.
And that's where we're going to end it for tonight.
That sounds good.
Thank you, everyone, for playing. Thank you, everyone, for listening. Tonight, I was joined by a bunch of incredibly awesome people, including, but not limited to, Archbeth hanging out in chat, Ellie, Io, Jen, Matt, and Cindy. Let's do some quick plugs. So, Ellie runs a social network, elek.xyz. That's elekk.xyz. It runs on Mastodon. So if you are part of the Fediverse, you can follow many of us there. Our social information is available on the cast page, which is linked in our show notes. Io's mom writes books. You can get those at elizabeth-mccoy.com. Jen has a blog and podcast. You can get that at bookofjen.net. And we have a Patreon, patreon.com/cogwheelgaming, where you can get these episodes when I have edited them all early, in some cases months before they are scheduled to go live, because I upload them to Patreon as I edit them. and I only publish one Kobold episode per week because we only record one per week. So there's a bit of a backlog there. This episode, when I'm done editing it, is going to go live in August because last week's will be live August 3rd.
Wow.
So that's a thing. So patreon.com/cogwheelgaming. You can help us keep the lights on like other illustrious patrons, including Chris, Cindy, Ellie, and Eric. And until next time, this is Crash saying, you would think that there weren't any fatalities on the first day kobolds started coming to the moon. You would think that.
Zealand knows better now.
Zealy technically knew better before, which is why Zealy had that spell prepared.
Technically, Zealy always has wish prepared. Sorcerers.
Our statements are not mutually exclusive.
That's fair. That's really fair.
Good
Zealy
night,
was
everybody.
also... Good night.
No, go ahead. Say that last thing.
Zealy was also one of the kobolds that created Kobold Osha.
That's true.
That is true.
Also true, and the moon, I will tell you, is not up to code.
The one thing it has in common with the Death Star.
Be right back. I'm going to make a one-shot RPG that is just Kobold Osha, and your goal will be to bring the moon up to code. It's going to be one of those two-stack
wow.
systems. I really want to do this.
Chapter 200.
It's going to be lasers and feelings, but with kobolds and the moon.
Wow.
No joke, that sounds like fun. I'd play it.
It does, actually. Yeah.
No joke, I want to make this. So let's see if I have the spoons to do it this week.
Okay.
All right. But until next time, see you. Have fun. I'm going to press
Good
buttons
night.
one last time. Good night, everybody.
Good night.